The White Sox beat their city rivals, the Cubs, during a cold and rainy night on the north side of Chicago. It was one game, but for Sox fans, it feels like so much more. Giolito goes tonight trying to keep the winning ways going as Sox look to make it 3 in a row.
You are Locked On White Sox, your daily Chicago White Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, Sox fans, welcome to Locked On White Sox. Thank you for making Locked On White Sox your first listen each and every day. We're free and available on all platforms. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Sox. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Search Locked On White Sox. This Mother's Day, give mom something she'll treasure forever with fine jewelry from BlueNile.com. And Locked On Sports listeners get $50 off, $500. Just use code Locked On at checkout. I'm your host, Nick Morawski, a lifelong diehard Chicago White Sox fan, recording this podcast just blocks from the ballpark in beautiful Bridgeport. You can find me on Twitter at Nick_GGTB. Really appreciate you letting me steal some of your time to talk White Sox. Locked On White Sox is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Lucas Giolito is going to get his turn to take down the Cubs. Why Monday's performance from Dylan Cease will not be forgotten anytime soon. And Michael Kopech pitches well and gets a big win against the Cubs. State of the Sox, your White Sox are 10-13. It was a rainy, windy, nasty day on the north side of Chicago in Wrigley. Sox beat the Cubs 3-1. Cubs had to scratch their original starter. So bullpen arm Scott Effross started instead. Effross had minimal experience against the White Sox, giving up 2 runs on 1 hit with a strikeout in 2 1/3 innings against the Sox. Throughout his career, it was really just a bullpen game for the Cubs. So that was kind of a promising sign, I guess, for the Sox offense. But then again, when the Sox do not see pitchers, they don't have a lot of experience against them. Sometimes the offensive numbers are just not there. But the Sox manufactured some runs. We'll get to that in a little bit. It was the Michael Kopech show for a while. He had to have been seeing what Cease had done. And, he's watching. He wants to get his opportunity. Kopech's experience against the Cubs last year was all out of the bullpen. So it wasn't a lot of experience. His first opportunity to take the hill as a starter, and he was kind of on cruise control. He had some pinpoint control, which was great to see. He avoided that wild first inning that has plagued him in previous starts. Things got a little dicey in the 4th. Bases were loaded after a base hit, a walk, and a hard hit ball that wasn't fielded cleanly by Berger. There were 2 outs, and there's 77 pitches at this point. He went to a 2-0 count, Kopech did, against Yan Gomes, and then he jammed him for a measly pop out to Abreu. I thought that could have been the inning where things maybe unraveled a little bit. And maybe in a previous life for Michael Kopech, we would have seen a few runs come across home plate for the Chicago Cubs. But there was some real mental toughness, especially giving up that walk and then seeing an error made by your third baseman. Granted, it was a hard hit ball. You're at 77 pitches. There's a mental thing there, especially with 2 outs. But for him to continue to battle after being down in the count 2-0, that was awesome to see. And that was his last inning. Kopech left after 82 pitches. Came out in the 5th, gave up a hit to Madrigal, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a moment. Lopez came on after that, but Kopech's final line, 4 innings, 4 hits, 0 earned runs, only 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Kopech's got his ERA down to 1.17. Now, yesterday we talked a little bit sample size with Cease and what we seeing from Cease, what we think we're going to get from him throughout the year. Now you switch over to Kopech, and we're starting to, I think, see what we're actually going to get from Kopech. Now, I think there could be an innings limit on Kopech. I don't know, but his history with his health and everything, they're going to be monitoring him closely. But it is so promising to see what we've gotten from Kopech. Again, starting pitching, starting to come around a little bit, waiting for the offense to pick up. Lopez, Ruiz, Bummer, Foster, and Hendriks all to help out of the bullpen. Hendriks got his 6th save of the year. Altogether, 12 strikeouts from White Sox pitching. Top of the 5th, first 2 on for the Sox hitters because they were plunked. Harrison and Tim Anderson hit. I don't think it was intentional. It looked like Tim Anderson had some words to say back at the pitcher's mound, but Harrison's was really bad. Harrison got dropped to the ground. I don't, maybe there's something that could happen in Wednesday's game. Plus, we have 2 more at Sox Park. Again, I don't think it was anything intentional, but you got 2 guys on, nobody out. You gotta do something with that. You want to make it hurt, get a couple runs across the plate. Pollock pops up in foul territory, and then Abreu hits into a double play. Sox could not capitalize. However, they did manufacture a few runs earlier in the game, and they got a solo home run to right field from Tim Anderson. So if you were at the game, if you're a Sox fan and you traveled up to the north side, what were some of your takeaways from Wrigleyville? You might not have been there in a few years. It's so different than it was years and years ago. Was there a part of the experience around Wrigleyville or perhaps in the stadium that you would like for it to be replicated back in the Bridgeport Armour Square neighborhood or at Sox Park? Any fights? Did you see any arguments, any brawls at the bar or on the red line or in the stadium? I have been to so many Cubs Sox games, obviously far more on the south side at Sox Park. And there hasn't been a game to my memory where I haven't seen a few fights break out. Obviously, Friday nights, Saturday nights are far different in the summer than a rainy, cold Tuesday night. The red line experience, commuting back and forth, north side to south side, is always interesting. Standing on that platform, a lot of heated arguments. You tell me that fans don't care about it. Fans care about it. It's one win. We're now 10-13, which is great. But this one win against the Cubs, this is huge. The coffee tastes better. Things are just maybe a little bit easier for you on Wednesday as you walk in dealing with maybe that annoying Cubs coworker, or maybe you're on some kind of text chain with other, relatives or friends, and there's a few Cubs fans. You get to give it to them for at least a day. Now, who knows what's going to happen on Wednesday, but for a day, you kind of feel before that first pitch on Wednesday, you feel real good. It was nice to see Kopech getting in there and getting that type of performance for him for his first start in this Cubs-Sox rivalry. If the Sox take these 2 games, if they take all 4 games this season, does it start leaning towards a Sox town? Does Chicago become a Sox town? Does it even matter to you as a fan? They flashed some of the graphics in the pregame on NBC Sports Chicago. The Sox are now 9-4 against the Cubs since 2020. I personally, I don't think things are going to change unless the Sox get on some winning ways for several seasons, get a World Series, and the Cubs, on their side, they have a lot of losing seasons. It completely flip-flops. And then I think you might see things change in the Sox favor. If it matters to you, if you care about it, if you want to see the city of Chicago turned into a White Sox town, maybe that does it for you. For me, hey, I'm tunnel vision on the White Sox, and it'd be nice if they were the talk of the town. But right now, man, we gotta keep grinding it out because we're only 10-13. So let's see how the rest of May goes and beyond. Hopefully, we can get 2 in a row from the Cubs. Weird seeing Nick Madrigal on the other side. He had a hit, made a pretty flashy play at second. He's not the first player, obviously, to play on both South Side and North Side, but the most recent, and a lot of opinions about that trade involving Nick Madrigal for Craig Kimbrell. And I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot of Nick Madrigal for a while, especially during these series. I'm going to tell you why that Dylan Cease performance from Monday is still on my mind, and I got a feeling I'm not the only one. More on that in a moment. Whether she prefers a statement piece or everyday subtle elegance, BlueNile.com has fine jewelry options for every mom. Shop high-quality classic diamond earrings, elegant tennis bracelets, or gemstone pendant necklaces. At BlueNile.com, you can celebrate all of life's special moments, from creating the custom engagement ring of her dreams to gifting a classic and timeless jewelry piece, all at prices you won't find at a traditional jeweler. Not perfect? No problem. 100% satisfaction guarantee. Shop stress-free with guaranteed free shipping and returns. Need your special purchase fast? In most cases, Blue Nile can deliver overnight. Every order is insured and arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. Mark Mother's Day with something enduring. Classic diamond stud earrings, elegant tennis bracelets, birthstone pendants, and so much more on BlueNile.com. This Mother's Day, give mom something she'll treasure forever with fine jewelry from BlueNile.com. And Locked On Sports listeners get $50 off, $500. This podcast exclusive is only good through Mother's Day. Use code LOCKED ON. That's code LOCKED ON. Plus, every order is insured, free shipping, and arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. Shop stress-free and find your forever piece. Go to BlueNile.com today. Thank you for making Locked On White Sox your first listen. For your next listen, check out the Locked On Now podcast. Recaps of MLB games with analysis from our local experts, taking fans through the season like no other network. Free and available wherever you get your podcasts. I'm still thinking about that Dylan Cease performance from Monday against the Angels, and I don't think I'm the only one. Maybe during this, the afternoon leading up to the Cubs game, maybe you went over and watched some replays, watched some of the strikeouts that Cease had, especially against Trout. It was such a special performance. Dylan Cease went out and he signed with super agent Scott Boras this past offseason. He bet on himself. Whether you like Scott Boras or you don't like him, he gets his players paid. And Dylan Cease signed up with him, and it's turning out to be a really good bet. I think we're going to look back on Monday's game against the Angels is when people really start taking notice of Cease, if they have not already. And as you know, as a Sox fan, outside of the city, outside of the state, outside of the Midwest, the Sox aren't talked about. They're not at the front of people's brains. But performances like what happened with Cease on Monday, that's going to get people talking. Dylan Cease became just the second pitcher in White Sox history to record a 7+ scoreless innings, 1 or less hit allowed, 0 walks, and 11+ strikeouts in a game, joining Gary Peters on July 15th, 1963. Monday's Cease outing brought him national attention, no question about that. When you strike out Mike Trout 3 times, you get noticed. Getting noticed puts you in the Cy Young conversation. And that is something that, we as Sox fans and a lot of, there was some buzz heading into the season by the prognosticators, the pundits, of watch out for Dylan Cease. He's going to be in the Cy Young conversation. And that's got to be great to hear that as a player, but you got to put up the numbers. And again, such a big outing. by Cease. And I think it's just the beginning here. And why does it matter when we put things in perspective as an organization, as a fan base? The Sox have not had a lot of Cy Young winners in their history. 3 in the entire history of the White Sox organization. Jack McDowell in 1993, Lamar Hoyt in 1983, Early Wynn, 1959. Sale never did it. Mark Burley never did it. Billy Pierce never did it. Just impressive stuff that hopefully, Monday's outing just continues to build. Another block, another building block, another building block. And, it starts getting picked up nationally. And the conversation just starts becoming about Cease, an ace for the White Sox. In a James Fegan article that came out in The Athletic on Tuesday, Cease said it was the best start of his career. Several players weighed in on Cease's performance. Hendriks said this: I think it was a different pitch every time, which is even the more impressive part about it. You're talking about going against one of the best hitters, meaning Mike Trout, not only just currently in the game, but possibly in history. And he doesn't swing and miss too often. I've heard some people say his approach is he goes out there and he sits on the pitcher's best pitch. Well, Cease has 5 different best pitches. That was coming from Hendriks. Here's Dylan Cease again on his performance. Some games I'll have outings where I've only got really 2 pitches working and I'm battling. Today, I pretty much felt like I knew where 4 pitches were going. That's an amazing feeling. Tim Anderson on the Cease performance. Everything that he threw was electric, and he was in the strike zone. If you stay right there, then the sky's the limit for him. Ethan Katz, the White Sox pitching coach. Dylan has been a guy that's always been a power guy. More. Katz said to be able to have those weapons, he doesn't have to try harder with his fastball to make up for counts. That's where he's been. He can throw any pitch in any count now. It just alleviates a ton of pressure on his fastball to try to have to do more. Obviously, when he gets into the right position, he can go get it. And he knows when we have to stop and what count he needs to start looking for weak contact and not to try to generate a strikeout. And here's La Russa on the Cease performance from Monday, the dominating Cease performance. This game is, no matter what your stuff is, it's about command, said TLR. You throw 95 or 98 miles per hour in the middle of the plate, they get you. Throw too many breaking balls. He's got a nice get-over breaking ball, and he's got one he puts you away with. A changeup moves the fastball around. To me, he's pitching with a lot of command, and that's what he was doing as the 2021 season went on, and he got better and better. He also competes, never satisfied with the last inning. It's always the next one. Boy, I mean, it's one thing to rewatch the game, or maybe you're watching it live on Monday, and then you go and you read, the articles and what people are saying locally, nationally, and just these quotes from people that know Cease, that are in the dugout, in the locker room with him, position players, manager, guys like Hendriks saying what he has said about Cease and the types of pitches he can make and how many he can make and where he wants to make them. It's just awesome. Just absolutely awesome. So obviously cannot wait for the next Dylan Cease day. But first, we get a treat of Lucas Giolito trying to keep the winning ways going. He hasn't seen the Cubs in a while. I'm going to tell you why the Sox will sweep the Cubs. More on that in just a moment. Summer is coming, and with summer, you're going to need some food on the go. Built Bars are the perfect snack to take with you on family vacations. Throw them in your bag or throw them in your kids' backpacks. Make sure that everyone has a bar so you are fueled for your summer adventures. The best part about Built Bars, they're healthy and delicious. No more sacrificing delicious food for health. With Built Bar, you can have both, and it's easy. All you have to do is go to Built.com and order now. All Built Bars and Puffs are covered in 100% real chocolate. That means with Built Bar, you can eat healthy and actually enjoy doing it. Have you tried the Built Puffs yet? They come in crazy flavors like banana cream pie and even churro. Who doesn't want a protein bar that tastes like a churro? And they're only 140 calories. If that's not enough flavor for you, then you might want to try the Mix Box. The Mix Box comes with 12 flavors of bars and puffs. Most Built Bars contain 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, and 17 grams of protein. Compare that to a candy bar, which usually has around 240 calories, 30 grams of sugar, and dozens of net carbs. Go to Built.com to get all your favorites: banana cream pie, raspberry, double chocolate, and so many more. They are all delicious, and new flavors are coming out all the time. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCKED15, and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. So you got to know that Lucas Giolito was sitting there studying, watching what Kopech did. And he was sitting there watching, cheering, in awe maybe of what Cease was doing on Monday. Now, again, Giolito's done some amazing things himself as a pitcher. You got to think that motivates a guy like Giolito. Okay, hey, that's awesome for Cease. Cool, we got 2 in a row now with Kopech. I want to keep things going. Now it's my turn. These guys aren't going to show me up. I'm going to turn out a gem on Wednesday against the Cubs. It's now my turn to shine and be in the spotlight. Gio is going to go on Wednesday, game 2, and then the finale of this brief series against the Cubs. Hendriks is on the hill for the Cubs. Kyle Hendriks has a 1-5 record with an ERA of 4.67 and 50 strikeouts in 10 appearances against the White Sox. Sox saw Hendriks last season and really roughed him up for 8 runs in 4 2/3 innings. Gio's last start was, of course, against the Angels. It was a little rocky, gave up 2 home runs in the first, but settled down, and I didn't think it was too bad of an overall pitching performance. Lucas Giolito is 1-3 with an ERA of 8.71 and 22 strikeouts in 4 appearances against the Cubs in his career. However, Lucas has not pitched against them since 2019. I mean, that seems like a lifetime ago. Giolito is a completely different pitcher. So, Gio got to watch Kopech, got to watch Cease, and now he gets his turn. Weather should be dry, but still cold. Highs in the mid-40s. Hope to see Robert and maybe even Vaughn back, but, no need to rush these guys, especially with sloppy conditions, cold weather. We got to make sure that they're 100%. Don't want to re-aggravate anything. Folks, really appreciate you making this podcast part of your daily routine. You can find the Locked On White Sox podcast everywhere you find podcasts. We are on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Sox. You can find me on Twitter at Nick_GGTB. Thanks for making Locked On White Sox your first listen. Now make your second listen Locked On MLB. Paul Francis Sullivan, just call him Sully, brings you his unique perspective on the major leagues past and present. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Coming up on the next episode, hopefully we're talking about a Giolito masterpiece and a sweep of the Chicago Cubs. Really appreciate you making Locked On White Sox your first listen. I'm Nick Morawski. Until next time, go Sox.